Sensei, hijack city. No, hiya did say. Inglewood, LA city. Be dope king, run your city. Just don't stay confused about the rules of your city. Got to serenade the hearing aid of the aged city. Got poor Hebrews, Jews confused, lost in your city. Got sisters like twisters, they spend in your city. Who gon' come with me? Who gon' come with me? I'm colder than the chop to the back of the kidney. Crisper than the pinch when you ain't looking at me. We active, so activate with me. Hey. What's up, man? Kingdrop. Told you we bringing that energy today. Who got the drop? That's worth the Uno on the beats. He already know what's going on. Look out for the drop. Let's get to it, man. Let's get to it. Love the Drop Nation. We here, man. We active. We here, man. We here, man. Man, when y'all come here, man, you gonna get the drop all the time. You know what I mean? You are Drop Nation. That's how we get down. Alright. You see, you know what I'm saying? You know, each one, man. Each one teach one, man. We keep building, man. Lex Will talked about getting getting the donate joint up. And it makes sense, man, because we want to do this 24/7. We want to actually run our radio station 24/7, you know what I'm saying? Be able to have, someone always there, you know what I'm saying? Broadcasting. I mean, we're all broadcasting YouTube, so we can all have our own, radio shows all on, the Drop Radio. Everyone can have their own radio shows, you know what I'm saying? You can build them around however you want to build them, as long as it's all about that frequency, man. And we can be our own radio network virtually all through right here. The interface, we'll build it all right here. Build the whole link up the platform, link everybody's radio shows. Whoever's interested, man. I just thought of that as I'm talking to y'all. So hey, that's pretty dope. That's a way for us all to get going. We'll see how we get set up with Blog Talk. And then from there, we'll just, have a bunch of different Blog Talk radio shows. And that'll all be one network through the Drop Radio, and everybody will know when to come get it. So when everybody does get, too smart for YouTube, they'll have a great network to still come here and get the drop live. Radio's live, man. You know what I'm saying? So what's cool is that you can always pre-record, you know what I mean? So it ain't like you got to do a certain time slot every night. You can just record it whenever you record it and drop it however you drop it, all right? So, hey, we're trying to rally this thing, man. If we're going to go out, let's go out like this, man. Let's go out as a nation. Let's go out having a drop, raising our vibration. So today we're going to get all in that vibration, though. Yeah, I mean, yo, rock the drop. It's almost August 1st. If you ain't got that Smiles yet, smiles at 432thedrop.com. If you ain't signed up for the Drop Tuner package, man, check it out. All right. Yeah, they can't tell us who we are. They can't tell us who we're not. Love the Drop Nation, all right? So you can go right here. Even if, you don't want to do the Drop Tuner package, you just want to support. Yeah, it's $25. I just added the shipping and handling, you know what I mean? That's the average, so, that's what we're going to go with, $25 for a shirt. Go ahead and put your order in right there if you just want to put a straight up order in. Again, if you want to, make the August 1st cutoff, then just, put your order in and just shoot me an email, music@432thedrop.com or smiles@432thedrop.com, and we'll make sure we get your size before we put this order in. Make sure we get everybody's sizes in. But we'll keep coming with new joints, but they'll always be here, featured for you. The next one is No Hijacks Allowed. Oh, man, it's going to be fun. We're going to get into this, though. A little bit of this geometry, man. A little mathematics. Let's break it down. Let's get simple about it. Everybody's going crazy. Let's take our energy back. Let's see what they're teaching about our energy abstractly and get the babies out the bathwater, because it's all mathematical. Numbers are alive. Everything's numbers. Everything breaks down into some type of geometry, some type of energy, some type of sound. All right? We can't just be all left-brained. Oh, okay, I'm an Indian. Well, Indians understood some things about energy. And we got to get that back because they took it. They stole it. We got to get it back. You'll see. You'll see. Keep downloading that frequency anthem, man. Gotta love it. Gotta keep doing it, man, for the frequency. Alright. Let's stay in swag frequency. Yo, Styles by Nina. We're gonna get into some of this, man. The Pyramidiots. Man, sister is cold with the info. We will be back. We will be back to this. We're gonna get all in it. Cool little video, man. Sign up for that drop tuner right here. $5, 50 songs a month. Get your shirt before August 1st. Let's go. Alright. Daily drop. Kings and Let Us Find the Truth. Everybody hit up Let Us Find the Truth, man. He's over there chilling. The King's, got his library, his platform, his blog, his chat. Hit him up. Alright. Hit him up. Alright. Oh, man. Smiles. Amazing. Amazing job. Editing. Phenomenal. Everybody check this out. Get your money drop. You'll learn everything you got to know about banking right there. Kingston Lex Will. He said, hey, you want to be a new beginning? How about this? Take that. So go ahead and check it out, man. And keep growing. We're all growing together. Let's keep growing. Hallway. Let go. Leprosy. Hey, man, Hallway's getting serious. He's getting upset. Y'all want to hear Hallway get upset? This is the one you want to hear, man. Kingston Hallway, man. Putting in that work. Arthur Scott Jr., man. Keeping it going. Quest continued. He's cutting down, you know what I'm saying, all these conquistadors. Check them out. I already know. Let's go ahead. One more. One more. One more. One more. One more. One more. What? All right, let's go. All right. This is dope, man. Francisco. I think we should check this out right quick. I think we should check this out from my king, Francisco. Check out this track. The king puts it down. I mean, we're so talented, Israel. Let's go. I was muted. My bad. I'm like, what the feezy? All right, here we go. Kings Francisco, take it away. Feature drop, man. Drop track. We dropping it off, man. Let's go.
Yeah. You got that friend that always got your back. Never worry, because together we gon' keep it tight. We from the same playground, used to play and fight. You held it down with no others in sight. Straight love to the end of my life. We better keep it real. I feel the call when you enter the storm. The word bond and take the credit you can trust with your girl. Side by side, yo, we weathered it all. Should we family, yeah, you solid the stump. Yeah, you solid the stump. We about to kick it, though we living that Hebraic life. We all struggle with times, but never lose sight. The love's real and the message of right. Never forget, you my brother for life. Yeah, let it be known as it's written in stone. Out of call, you got a place in my home. You got a place in my home. You got a place in my home.
Hey.
Even with my kids, you treat them like they was your own. Giving guidance and love, that's just how deep it goes. Whether I'm 30 or I'm 60, we gon' hold it down. Life will only get sweeter, now let me show you how. Bring back the unity and brothers, they be ducking out. Spiritual freedom, that's the shit that I'ma figure out. I found a purpose, be damn if I'ma let you down. They say the journey's always harder when it's up here. You know that gut feel, let you know it was real. All real, man. All real. Yeah. We about to kick it, yo, we living that Hebraic life. We all struggle at times, but never lose sight. The love's real and the message I write. Never forget, you my brother for life. Yeah, let it be known as it's written in stone. Out of gold, you got a place in my home. Yeah, you got a place in my home. Never worry, cause you always got a place in my home. 0 to 60, now you're looking for a way out. So you capitalize, you're what a strange sound. And your struggle's only chipping at your fate now. but never letting them down. Sometimes we phase out, but see what matters the most will never change now. So the pieces that they give you leave you content. You once owned the board, don't ever forget. As I'm looking at my brother, yo, I'm thinking this. I feel we on the same page, we need to feed the kids. So as I cross the line, I know he got my back. Never doubt that, never will, never have. Never doubt that, never will, never have. We about to kick it, yo, we living that hood brain life. We all struck with times, but never lose sight. The love's real when the message are right. Never forget, you my brother for life. Yeah, let it be known as it's written in stone. How to code, you got a place in my home, yeah. You got a place in my home, yeah. You got a place in my home, yeah. It's been a minute, but it feels like it ain't been that long. Fulfill the last your breath to know that I live on. Giving what really feels like you ain't even gave it all. No more for my people, my Hebrew people know. Fire out of know we sharp as a blade. Hawaiian made, no we can't be tamed. Slow mo, burn hotter than cold. We on fire, let the truth be told. Oh, we about to kick it, yo, we living that Hebraic life. We all struck with time, but never lose sight. The love's real when the message are right. Never forget, you my brother for life. Yeah, let it be known as it's written in stone. How to code, you got a place in my home. You got a place in my home.
Drop off, baby.
You got a place in my home.
Yeah. Kings to Francisco. Positive vibrations. Positive vibrations. Yeah, I love it. I love it, man. That's the drop off right there. See the drop off, it has like two meanings. Either you get dropped off like you're getting literally blocked out of some form of of social media or whatever, you know, or we actually drop off music, man. We actually drop music off to the to our peoples, man, and we enjoy featuring independent slaps. We call them drop artists. You know what I'm saying? Because they got the drop. So that's a drop artist right there, man. You know what I'm saying? So love to Francisco. Love to Negrito Grande. Man, he's kicking that drop out there in Mexico. Brother out there letting you know what the indigenous life is like. Off the sky, man. Hey, I guess I got to do it. Let go. Live drop. Off the sky. Feature drop. Take it away. Is this muted too? Oh, man, I muted everybody. I need to unmute something. Let's go. Yeah. Take it away, King. Look at that, look at that.
what the hell I'm playing. I'm just playing.
Oh. It's like butter, baby. It's like butter. Positive vibrations. Arthur Scott Jr. He's just getting his little twinkle on. He's getting his twinkle on right quick. Just kick back and let the brother get his twinkle on.
I'm gonna stop playing. Have a good day.
Kings, man. Arthur Scott, I'm telling you, man. It's a lot of fun, man, being able to, feature some of this stuff. Got your survival drop. Hey, we might have to check that out right quick, man. Who's that? Styles by Nina, man, again. Breaking it all the way down. Check the sister out. She stays active. Get into the root. Uno on the beats. The king is at his part 6. This is dedication. Every time he's like, look, man, y'all don't want me to read it. Y'all pause it. Y'all read it. Give a fuck. He's a goon Bob, man. Hey, we're just a bunch of misfits trying to put it together, man. So, brothers in arms, man. Love, man. You already know. Let's get it. Ernest Anderson dropping that, you know what I'm saying, stuff that we kind of get to expect, man. So we know the solution. We just got to get the hell out of here. We got to get out of their jurisdiction, you know what I'm saying, or else it's going to be cowboys and Indians, man. All right, check it out, man. The original Ame'rican dropping that drop. Check them out. Arthur Scott stays busy. Moorish, Yam-C, Conquest. Drop track, Francisco got another track, man, in his hands, man. So y'all check all this out, man. Right quick, I wanted to, as he was playing that guitar, getting his twinkle on, made me think about 432 in your music, and we're about to get into this energy drop. You know what I'm saying? We in the energy business. We're in the vibration business. We promote vibration awareness. We make sure the community is aware of this vibration game, this frequency war. Just because you don't know about it doesn't mean it's not affecting you. Subconsciously, you're getting jammed up. Ain't that right? Ain't that right? All right, man. So you know me. I stay teamed up. You already know. What are we doing? All right, so let's go to, okay. Yeah, there we go. Let's check him out. My bad, they're being funny with my internet. They're being funny with my net. Every time we start dropping stuff, man, they want to get funny with our internet, man. You know what I'm saying? These people acting funny with the monies. What's this? What's going on? I know, man. Why they jamming us up clean like this, man? Oh, okay. We back. I think we back. We backed out. Okay, not yet. Trying to come back. 1 second, people, man. You know what I'm saying? I told you, right when I mentioned energy, see what happened? I got hijacked as soon as I mentioned energy. So we gotta just get this thing back on. Hold up, man. See me? I do the drop like this. I give you the drop straight up, man. You know what I'm saying? I always got the drop. Hold up. All right, man, let's fix this thing. All right, I think we're good. All right. I do the one hand drop on you. You know what I'm saying? This takes time. I get my bicep workout, man. I'm going to hold him the whole drop. It's going to be 2 hours. Me and the young king. All right, let's see if we're working now. Come on. Okay, we back. Shout out to Smiles, man. Look at these vibe suites. It's on and cracking. Check them out. Move and groove, whatever vibration. We got many more. We got the soul R&B suite about to drop. You know what I'm saying? We got some nice little meditative vibes and some, you know what I'm saying? Just a whole. We got like another one called Public Speeding, which is gonna be crazy. It's just gonna be like a bunch of that. conscious new and all that kind of stuff. So it's gonna be fun, man. We're just trying to create a good environment for everybody to chill, to vibe to. You go over here to more. What is 432 hertz? Let's check this out. We back. Trying to hijack my frequency. You can read this in your own time. Learn more about it. And I'll put more links here too. Alright, but check out this brother on the guitar. So when we talk 432, you're talking about A equals 432. So there's A, C, middle C, all that. So A equals 432 is, gets you on that harmonic balance with the entire chord. So in order to tune your guitar, right now, if you buy your guitar, they have already tuned it for you to 440. Same thing with pianos, I think. So with guitars, this brother gonna show you how to tune your guitar up just by tuning up the A chord on the guitar. Tuning the A chord alone will put your entire guitar in the proper harmonic in the scale 432. And we're about to get the drop further on that, but let's check this out right quick.
How y'all doing? This is George, man. Testing the theory between 440 hertz and 432 hertz. This is a black guitar, Ibanez, exotic body, bigger body. The video isn't messed up. I play upside down. These I had the strings reversed to left-handed style, but with a right-handed body. So the strings, the low
You
is
can
at
hear
the
that.
top, the high is at the bottom. This is at 440 hertz playing a D major chord.
That's 440. He's just trying to get the sound in your head. That's the 440 hertz. Now he's going to use the guitar tune of 432. Swag frequency.
A knockoff crescent guitar, smaller body. This is D major chord at 432 hertz, and the strings are not reversed, and I'm still playing upside down. This is the way I play the guitar, but this is 432 hertz, D major chord.
432.
See me with the 432, the sound sounds bigger, with a smaller body, and I'm not really playing as hard to get a full sound out. So to me, the sound isn't as harsh, and it's more of a harmonic instead of a pulsating sound with the 440 hertz guitar. So this one feels more harmonious. You can feel it in the body of the guitar. With the 440, is more a pulsating sound instead of a smooth. It's like you can feel it pulsating. It's not as smooth as the 432. It's high in pitch. Even if you just play chords. So those are bar chords. So even if you go here, play full. It sounds good because you're just used to that sound. to the 432, sounds just bigger.
Wow, you feel that?
It like holds it longer. So I like the 432 sound.
So the brother gets his twinkle on a little bit. Let's see this person break it down a little bit.
Here's to tune your guitar to 432 frequency.
He's going to tell you how to do it.
Using an Intelli clip-on chromatic tuner IMT-500 model. Set to 432, calibrated to. Here's your E.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here's your B.
All you gotta do is match that. You get your guitar out. You match that vibration. Don't tell me you don't feel that by now, Drop Nation.
Your G. Your D. Your A.
Dig on it.
And your low E. From your low E to the high.
Okay. Alright, we're just getting warmed up. Hope you're enjoying the program. Alright, so you can match all that, you can read all this. I mean, and we got much more drop to come on it. Let's go back to the home page. We'll go right into the frequency now. Let the show begin. Get the drop. So as we go through what we're going through today, as we feel uneasy, as we look for things to attach ourselves to, there's nothing better than to attach yourself to the energy of your Creator. To understand that, you got to understand mathematics, frequency, vibration. So we're going to get into it and get into these numbers and what 432 is a little clearer, and then get into the law of nines and those numbers, like, you know, how everything adds up to 9 and what that means in creation, and, you know, all that kind of stuff. So it's all for you. Everything is created for you. All these numbers are for you. All this energy is for you. It's been hijacked, so let's get the babies out the bathwater.
There is ever to be such a thing as a true universal language. It will most likely be expressed in the realms of mathematics, geometry, energy patterns, and frequency. Could it be that this language, or at least the foundation of it, already exists here on Earth? Is it possible that over the course of thousands of years, we have been somehow guided in the process of creating this new form of communication? And if so, what type of information will be conveyed through it that could not be expressed any other way? In the search for answers, we must be prepared to trek through both time and space, to open our eyes and minds wide enough to notice compelling coincidences, and to stand back far enough to see if the building blocks of some kind of mathematical, spatial, frequency-based language emerge. But before we begin our journey, we will pause here in the present day to notice some of the ways that we measure and tabulate the world around us. This is an important step, for how we count and measure things can be as revealing as why we count them. First, we will take a look at the way we measure time. For all practical purposes, the smallest unit is 1 second, and we all know it takes 60 seconds to make a minute, and then 60 of these minutes to make an hour. This hour, of course, is the unit by which we divide our days, and these days become months, years, decades, centuries, and so on. Speaking of 60, let's take a moment to notice that all geometry, whether it is 2 or 3 dimensional, is also derived from base 60 mathematics that provide the foundation for a 360-degree circle, which in turn provides us with all the angles and formulas for creating virtually every shape known to humankind. Now let's look at how many cultures from all over the world have chosen to count and group things. Right away, we see that we have been attracted to the number 12, 12 eggs in a dozen, 12 months in a year, 12 inches in a foot,
12 tribes,
12 signs of the zodiac. Strangely, whether it's tallying disciples or mythical gods, the number 12 appears often in the telling of our greatest stories about ourselves. And what about distance? Your local town might be measured in meters or other units, but when we talk about measuring our planet, the standards we all use revert back to base 60 units of miles, minutes, or geometrical degrees. Are you noticing the pattern here? We seem to be encountering a lot of 12s and 60s. Are they related? And if so, how? To answer that piece of the puzzle, we must travel roughly 5,000 years back in time to visit the ancient Sumerian culture of Mesopotamia, for here is where our 1260-based math comes from. This counting system, which was invented by the same people who produced the world's first written language, involved counting the knuckles of the 4 long fingers on one hand and then multiplying them by all 5 digits on the other hand. If you do this, you will get a maximum number of 12 knuckles times 5 fingers, which of course totals 60. How these cosmic jumps in language and mathematics occurred so suddenly is open to debate, but it is interesting to note that the ancient Sumerians themselves wrote about being given this information by sky god visitors they called the Anunnaki. Who and what the Anunnaki were is a hotly contested subject, but one thing that cannot be denied is the fact that over 5,000 years ago, a mathematical system was born that incredibly still serves us today. So now that we have our various units of measurement, all based on the Sumerian 1260 counting system, let's jump forward to a few pivotal moments in history and see what other numbers, patterns, and synchronicities appear. In the 6th century BC, on the Greek island of Samos, the famed mathematician Pythagoras led a school of thought that married philosophy, mathematics, music, and of course geometry. And while Pythagoras did not discover advanced geometry, he did apply it in new ways, especially to music. For instance, he noticed that when a tauten string was plucked, it would create a tone. And when that string was divided in half, it would make the same tone only twice as high in pitch. Pythagoras then came up with numerical ratios based on harmonic fifths, and this led to the creation of the musical scale found at the root of most modern music. It is important to note that according to Pythagoras, all musical notes were found by using mathematics, and as such were given number values according to their placement in a kind of master grid. For instance, by using fifths beginning from note number 1, he was eventually guided to note 27.
Remember what we always say, just surf the wave. I know it's a lot of math and stuff, and you might have some type of emotional reaction, knee-jerk reaction to it, because it's been presented a certain way to you. But what you're about to understand is the math that's been presented to you is like an inverse of you. They've created you. All their robots, all their biometrics is all about you. They created a system to try to figure you out. Something that you was so brilliant to these people. So they all took little chunks from here, little chunks from here to try to figure out who you are. And you're about to understand this is a vibration war. How did they hijack you? Just surf this wave. Don't even think about it. Just vibe to it. Let's go.
And to find the same note twice as high in pitch, he simply kept doubling it to 54, 108, 216, 432, and so
I'm going to back it up so you see how we got back to this 432. See, we're not just coming out of nowhere with it. What did he learn to do to get to this organic number, this frequency, to tap into your vibration? What did he do? Let's listen.
jumps in language and mathematics occurred so suddenly is open to debate. But it is interesting to note that the ancient Sumerians themselves wrote about being given this information by sky god visitors they called the Anunnaki. Who and what the Anunnaki were is a hotly contested subject.
Hijack.
But one thing that cannot be denied is the fact that over 5,000 years ago, a mathematical system was born that incredibly still serves us today. So now that we have our various units of measurement, all based on the Sumerian 1260 counting system, let's jump forward to a few pivotal moments in history and see what other numbers, patterns, and synchronicities appear.
Listen up.
In the 6th century BC, on the Greek island of Samos, the famed mathematician Pythagoras led a school of thought that married philosophy, mathematics, music, and of course geometry. And while Pythagoras did not discover advanced geometry...
Okay, so he didn't discover shit. They just told you that. So again, this is about you. This is about what they're gathering from you. Now listen to how he put it together.
He did apply it in new ways, especially to music. For instance, he noticed that when a tauten string was plucked, it would create a tone. And when that string was divided in half, it would make the same tone only twice as high in pitch. Pythagoras then came up with numerical ratios based on harmonic fifths, and this led to the creation of the musical scale found at the root of most modern music. It is important to note that according to Pythagoras, all musical notes were found by using mathematics, and as such were given number values according to their placement in a kind of master grid. For instance, by using fifths beginning from note number 1, he was eventually guided to note 27. And to find the same note twice as high in pitch, he simply kept doubling it to 54, 108, 216, 432, and so on up the scale.
Let's keep going.
If you've ever heard of Pythagorean tuning, you know that the number 432 is quite important. To Pythagoras himself, it probably wouldn't have stood out more than any other in his numerical grid. But in our quest to find a universal language based on mathematics and frequency, this particular note represents a significant piece of coincidental evidence. You see, many ancient musical instruments, from Tibetan bowls to Native American flutes, happen to produce the same tone, a tone that vibrates at 432 cycles per second.
Native American flutes. Now do you see how this all comes together? I said take this sword, seeds of Adam. I said on this sword you have your frequency that they hijacked from you. Your flutes and instruments were already tuned to nature, vibrating. You didn't need hijacked harmonics. We're talking about energy, frequency, and vibration. And yes, we're talking about you. You want to vibrate with the creator, then you need to be in the frequency of the creator. Energy. You can't just read books. You have to be still. But there's certain things you need to know. You got to know thyself. Who are you?
That's compelling, but even more intriguing is the fact that Pythagoras was not calculating vibration cycles to find tone 432. It just happens to be the same number. What's more, for decades, most modern musical instruments were also tuned to this same fourth octave A,
Okay.
with a value of 432 cycles. How could this be? Who chose this particular note as the keystone for instrument tuning? And more importantly, why? Here is where a deeper mystery begins to emerge. And to explore it, we will need to go back to Pythagoras' other passion, geometry. It is not an exaggeration to say that to Pythagoras and his disciples, geometry and math held a key to the nature of all life everywhere.
Which means, that's Hijack City, right? So that means to you, this vibration held the key to everything. How you built things, how you lived, what you ate, the vibrations of all these things. When you understand your fruit game and your vegetable game and how these colors are coordinating with your energy. That red apple is correlating with that red energy center. That chakra, right? That base chakra. Whatever, you know what I'm saying? We'll get into this, but, you know, that's how we're connecting energy based on what we're eating. We know where it's going. We know what we're doing. We know ourselves. So to you, this is fundamental. Now they just got us protesting. And we forget the building blocks. We're going inside to pick this lock. We ain't going to freak out because somebody got us in a headlock. We're going to pick it jiu-jitsu style. We're not going to freak out. We're going to breathe. We're going to relax. We're going to guard our grill. And we're going to pick this fucking lock and get this motherfucker off us. Let's go.
Maybe it does. Let's look at the first four geometric shapes: the circle, triangle, square, and pentagon. In each of them are angles of degrees that, when added together, always total a specific number relative to that particular shape. For instance, if we take a triangle, the sum total of all three interior angles is always 180. For both the square and circle, it is 360. For a pentagon, it is 540.
Whoa, 180, 360. Add those up. Add 180. What do you get? 180. 1 plus 8 is 9. Add 360. What do you get? 3 plus 6 plus 0 is 9. Add 432. What do you get? 4 plus 3 plus 2 is 9. Let's keep going.
Now at this moment, let's step back and
540. 5 plus 4 plus 0 is 9. Anybody see a pattern of your energy signature in that ruach? Let go.
look at these numbers in a different way, as there seems to be something
Come
about
on.
them that reaches beyond a simple sum of angles. Did you notice that they happen to be in the same numerical neighborhood as tone 432? What's more, they all add up to 9, just like 432. As an experiment, let's take a look at the numbers found in basic geometric shapes, then apply those numbers as vibration cycles to hear the tones they produce. First, let's listen to what the 180 total degrees contained in a triangle sound like.
Listen. Oh no.
And here's a squares and circles 360 in cycles per second. A perfect octave up from the triangle. What about the pentagon at 540? That sounds like a harmonic fifth of the other two. That's interesting. What are these tones? They are F sharp and its perfect harmonic fifth of C sharp. Let's keep going. What does a hexagon 720 sound like? Another F sharp. Here's a seven-sided septagon, which totals 900.
909.
This is an A sharp, which happens to be the note required to complete an F sharp major chord in perfect three-part harmony.
shapes, geometry, mathematics,
And
vibration,
finally, the
sound,
octagon,
frequency.
where we get 1080, another
Hey,
C
yeah, hey.
sharp. Suddenly,
Are y'all understanding how you are created yet? Do you understand how the earth is created when he says he gives the word? And with his word, with his vibration, it creates shapes and it forms things. And these things are in the vibration of the 9, of the order, of the 5, of the building blocks. Right? What's pi? What, 3.14? Alright, we're going to get to the bottom of all this stuff. Let's go. Let's go.
geometry is expressed by tones, and these tones just happen to create the most beautiful form of music, a perfect 3-part major chord in the key of F sharp.
All together. All together now.
Is this something we've been missing for years? Is it important? To the famous philosopher and mathematician Plato, the answer would have been a resounding yes, for it is Plato who advanced the study of 2-dimensional geometry into 3-dimensional geometry, and who began to recognize that nature, whether expressed as a tone, the petal design of a flower, or the spiraling design of a seashell, seemed to follow a 3D mathematical pattern. In fact, it became an obsession of Plato to try and find the simplest 3-dimensional geometric shapes, and his quest ultimately revealed what we now call the Platonic solids. In essence, these forms represent the most elemental construction blocks found both in human-made and natural forms. So let's see if and how they fit into our geometry tone grid. First, there is the tetrahedron, or a 3-sided pyramid comprised of 4 interlocking triangles. As we did before, let's add up all the angles found in those 4 triangles. The answer, 720, which we have already seen is the tone F sharp. Next we have the cube, whose 6 360-degree squares totals 2160. What does it sound like? (2160) is a high C sharp.
2160. 2 plus 1. What? Plus 6. 9. Boom. Let's go.
And as you will see later, a very interesting number for other reasons as well. Next up is the octahedron. Constructed of 8 triangles, this shape totals 1440, which is another perfect F sharp higher up the scale.
1 plus 4 plus 4. Let's go.
The icosahedron is made up of 20 triangles, so the total number of degrees is 3600.
Wow. Listen to that, man. That's frequency.
As a tone, 3600 vibration cycles create the A sharp needed to complete yet another F sharp major chord that sounds like this.
Wow. So, what do the heavens sound like? All right. The higher you go above the firmament, the solid rock firmament that was beaten out, you're doubling in octaves and you're getting those higher pitches. And if we're doing this with the sand experiments, the somatics, you're going to see more complex designs the higher they go up in this harmonic scale, this pitch, this sound, this frequency that's forming the sand into complex patterns. And we showed that already. You can see that on our site, on the homepage, 432thedrop.com. All right. So, yeah, man. When we say 432, you double that, 864. All right. 8 plus 6, 14. That 14 breaks down into 1 plus 4. That's 5. Plus 4, 864. That's 9, right? 1728 is the double of that. 1 plus 7 is 8. Plus 2. All right, that's 10 or just 1. And then you got the 8. 8 plus 1 is 9. 34, 56, keep on going, right? All right, so everything's coming down to this. All right, so let's pay attention.
At this point, we have seen how 2- and
Mathematics.
3-dimensional geometry can be expressed by the notes found in an F-sharp major chord. Could this also be true with what is known as sacred geometry? To find out, we will first need to build a design called the germ of life.
And they have all kind of hijacks, but they're calling it sacred geometry because they know that it's related to creation itself. And they know it's related to the building blocks of the creator itself. Let's go.
Which, when repeated, goes on to reveal the seed of life, then flower of life patterns found at sacred sites all over the world. First, we start with a circle at 360 degrees, which is the familiar F sharp. We then add our second circle, bringing the total to 720, another F sharp. 3 circles totals 1080, which provides the harmonic fifth of C sharp. 4 circles is 1440, another F sharp. 5 circles totals 1800, or the A sharp needed to once again provide the harmonic third of an F sharp major chord. And finally the 6th circle, which brings the total to 2160, another C sharp. Amazing. It's as if we can now both see and hear the flower of life pattern that has intrigued humankind for thousands of years.
Wow.
So now we have 2-dimensional geometry, 3-dimensional geometry, and even sacred geometry being represented by different variations of an F sharp major chord. How is this not common knowledge? How have we missed this connection? There are actually 3 explanations.
Great question. And I'm sure he's not going to cover this first explanation. How do we get so dumb? How do we forget all this drop? Why isn't it common knowledge, Negro? They got it from you. Anasazi, enemy of my enemy. Right? That's what they call you. Enemy of our enemies. Why have they taken this knowledge from you? All right, we know the answer.
1. For reasons ranging from the mundane to the conspiratorial, musical instruments are no longer tuned to an A vibrating at 432 cycles per second, but rather 440.
Bang.
2. Modern tuning calls for equal temperament, which no longer adheres to Pythagoras' whole number simplicity. And 3. The tuning method required to reveal geometric shapes is based on a mathematical grid rather than mathematical ratios. This grid, if it had a name, would probably be called something like factor 9, because the number 9 is found not only in the sum of every note on the grid, but also as the number required to move up or down the scale. For instance, if we started at note A at 216 cycles, all we would have to do is add or subtract the number 9 to reveal all the other tones in that octave.
Okay, so you take the New Testament hijack when you get 666 is the mark of the beast of the data. And you know they flipped everything, right? So you can break 666 down and just to science, you know what I'm saying, the carbon 66, the molecule 66. That's the building block of life. Also 6 times 6 times 6 is your 216 base frequency. So, you know what I'm saying, I'm under the understanding that this is the base frequency of creation, of our particular, you know, version of this creation, this earth, everything. To get back to our natural state, we'll be getting back to 216. Now, we are about to go up into a whole nother vibration. That's just with prophecy, right? That's our new, you know what I'm saying, our new kingdom, you know what I mean? So that new kingdom is prepared in a higher octave. So you double the 216 and you have the 432 higher octave that this kingdom, our earth, is all going to be resonating in, including you, which is why we're getting it now going. That natural next step. All right, then you can keep doubling that, getting into higher octaves of higher energies that are existing at higher octaves on the, you know, beautiful scale, all the way up to the throne of the creator at the very top. So I don't know how many times you got to double it to get to the throne, but eventually you're in that frequency. If you're ready for it, go for it. All right, let's go.
And it is here, on this incredible factor 9 grid, that we find not just some of our geometric numbers, but all of them. Conversely, modern A440 tuning reveals not one correlation to geometric numbers. Now let's go back for a moment and take a look at one of these numbers, 2160, the number expressed by both the cube and the germ of life pattern. You may have already noticed that without the 0, it is exactly half of our magic 432. That's worth noting, but what is even more intriguing is the way this number keeps showing up in other large-scale measurements.
Okay. Activate. Body bag for the illusion. Body bag, Daniel. Now, you would think I put this slideshow together, but no. This comes from a video that I actually have not seen this far. I'm watching it with you for the very first time. I had no idea they were going to show these Negroes where they got the drive. Like I just told you. But hey, it's so beautiful. He's just going to just say, hey, man, slide in these Negroes, these Mayan Negroes right quick. So they know that, you know what I'm saying, it's all about them. And it's all about a frequency war. So you want to activate, you want to go home to your jungle, you need to know what they know. Let's go.
To discover one of these measurements, we will need to jump forward from Plato's time to
Oh.
when the Mayan civilization was flourishing. Roughly 1,500 years ago, Mayan stargazers were the most accomplished astronomers the world had ever known. Their concept of cyclical time led to many incredible discoveries: the accurate length of a year, the exact dates of seasonal changes, even the moments when solar and lunar eclipses would occur. But their most amazing discovery was of something known as the precession of the equinox, which makes note of a very slow wobble of Earth's axis.
Hi, Jack. Now they're going to apply this to a Copernican model. They want to apply this to Galileo. Come on, man. So whatever they're talking about with the equinox, we have to now, as more intelligent people than what they designed their system to create of us, we have to apply that to our flat earth, you know what I'm saying, mathematics and understanding of a stationary fixed plane and what that meant as far as the, you know what I'm saying, the patterns and the path and the circuit of the sun and all this was being told in the bigger picture of things that is actually accurate, not this wobble shit. Do you think you're spinning at 1,100 miles per hour on a wobble? Chasing the sun that's traveling 540,000 miles per hour? And somehow you have to catch up to the sun that's traveling 500,000 miles per hour. But we're only traveling 67,000 miles per hour. Spinning at 1,100 miles per hour. Chasing a sun traveling 540,000 miles per hour. And that's coming straight from NASA. Do you feel any of that movement? Come on. Just stop. Just pause the video and let me know if you feel anything. Can you feel anything? Can you feel the love tonight? Can you feel the love? All right, come on. Hi, Jack.
Somehow aware of the fact that this wobble takes 25,920 years to complete, the Mayans called this cycle one great year, with each of its 12 great months requiring 2160 Earth years to complete. And what about this? Did you know that the diameter of our moon, when measured in miles, also happens to total? You guessed it, 2160. Lastly, watch what happens when we apply simple division to this highly...
They're applying real accurate science to a theory, which is this ball earth thing, right? That was introduced and the churches adopted it, and now they teach it to our children as a fact when they can't even prove gravity, and they need gravity for all this shit to happen. And they call it their God. Gravity's their God because they have to believe it. If they don't believe gravity, they have no model. So who's gravity? Who's their God that they have to believe in? I don't believe in nothing, brother. I don't believe in the creator. But I believe I'm on a ball and I believe in gravity. So you got to believe. Because you damn sure ain't got no proof. So the moon is, according to Enoch, 32 miles across. The sun is 32 miles across. But this 2160 is, you know, these are values and numbers that they're applying. That doesn't have to, they're injecting that onto the diameter of the moon. But let's just keep going. You know, I'm going to try to keep this hijack free.
Synchronous number. 2160 divided by 2 is 1080, the angle sum of the octagon. By 3, 720, the total of the hexagon. By 4, 540, the pentagon. By 5, are you ready? It's the ketone of 432.
All right.
And by 6, 360, the number of both the square and circle. All F sharps and C sharps, with our 432A thrown into the mix, as if it were some kind of clue to solving a cosmic riddle. maybe we should look at this number even more closely. As we've stated, our closest celestial neighbor, the moon, is 2160 miles across, and 216 is exactly half of 432. What about the other large object in our sky? Were you aware that our sun is 864,000 miles across? Incredibly, where the moon's base number sequence is half of 432, the sun's number sequence is exactly twice 432. And do you know how many seconds there are in a day? 86,400, or 43,200 for the 12 hours of day, and 43,200 for the 12 hours of night. Or try this. Take the 360 degrees found in the circular shape of our sun and moon, and then multiply it by the 12 hours of either day or night. The answer, 4320. Or how about this? What is the only whole number that when squared comes to within 0.01% accuracy to measuring the speed of light? 432.
That's interesting.
What is going on?
And their other math is correct because this is how satanic this thing is. Their Copernican model matches the same mathematical formulas and equations as the so-called flat earth model. When you take into account the reality that the sun is not super gigantic big, but is a smaller luminary, 32 miles across, matching the moon 32 miles across, all within the firmament. All the stars you see can't be millions of miles away. They're all within the firmament, which puts them a few thousand miles away and very small. They're not as large as you think. They're very small, but they're only a few thousand miles away. You're not getting all of that light from millions of miles. They want you to feel small. That's their objective. Feel tiny. The Creator created lots of little tiny things. No, you're the center of attention. So I got to keep that hijack free. And their math adds up because they've equated it that way. So they can do all this little formula stuff with natural mathematics, but they're hijacking the mathematics, which is how they hijacked you. That's why I said it's a frequency war. So we're getting through the hijack, but we got to point it out in the frequency.
Here, we have all these different things: earth cycles, time and celestial measurements, geometry, sonic frequency, yet they are all represented by the same numbers over and over again. To answer that, we must search for the factor common to all of them, and that common factor is the 5,000-year-old Sumerian 1260 counting system. It is what gave us the inches to a foot, the seconds to a minute, and the 360 degrees in geometry. It's almost as if the sky god visitors, who the Sumerians called the Anunnaki, provided humanity with a counting system that would lead to the discovery of these synchronicities. Could it be that...
Okay, so the fallen angels did come and teach them other things, right? So even on their walls in the Sumerian tablets, you'll see the hijacks even in stone. You'll see this big-ass sun, all these planets going around it. I'm like, damn, that's how far back the hijack is going. So they're teaching their people that the sun is huge because they're now worshiping the sun. They're worshiping Baal, right? They're worshiping, all these luminaries and entities that are within the firmament that cannot vibrate above the higher heavens that you were created in the frequency of. So that's why you're going to see it sometimes even on their walls, hijack. There's a lot more hijacking in there than I thought. But we're going to get the root to the dope. We're getting to the root of it all, man. You already know.
The number 432 really is some kind of cosmic key that unlocks a language of higher understanding? And if so, have these sky visitors ever been back to make sure we don't miss the importance of the 432 matrix? One possible answer can be found in the story of a man named George Van Tassel, a respected aeronautical engineer who believed he was contacted by extraterrestrial beings in the early 1950s. During this encounter, Van Tassel said he was provided with a mathematical formula that could be used for everything from time travel to sound frequency healing, and which he used to build the world-famous Integratron near Joshua Tree, California. What is this formula? It is F equals 1 over...
Now we're going to get into it, and now I'm just watching it with you, so look how they hijacked us. So these angels gave them some type of cheat code, and in that they perfected their grid of time and space, and now we're all born into sin, right? Sine, cosine, sin, time and space, based on them hijacking the math of the grid. So whatever he built, I guarantee that shit ain't in 432. I guarantee he just took the math and the calculations and the formulas and built something to hijack the frequency. Let's go.
T, or frequency equals one particular something divided by the number of time.
Okay.
Well, what if that one something was the biggest one on our planet? The one great year of 25,920 discovered by the Mayans. And what if the number for time was the most logical choice of 60? Suddenly, this mysterious equation is expressed as frequency equals 25,920 divided by 60.
Okay.
Are you ready for the answer? It's
Oh.
432. Not only the frequency.
Hey, I didn't see that coming. But I like the way that was broken down, because you can actually go back to the base counting system on it. You know what I mean? Let me get that back one time.
1920
One
discovered
great
by
year.
the Mayans. And what if the number for time was the most logical choice of 60?
Okay, so we're going to get this Mayan drop with the Sumer drop. So, you know what I'm saying? This appears hijack free. It appears they went right from the Maya sciences, right from our ancestors with this particular formula. All right, so here we go.
Suddenly, this mysterious equation is expressed as frequency equals 25,920 divided by 60. Are you ready for the answer? It's 432. Not only the frequency that instruments all of the world have been tuned to for thousands of years, but also the number that reveals the synchronistic nature of life on this planet. Noticing all these coincidences revealed by the 432 matrix and the Sumerian counting system, we must wonder if other ancient cultures were aware of them as well. Just scratching the surface, it would seem that they were. For example, let's take the Sumerian 12 and square it for a total of 144. Right off, we see that it is indeed a number and tone contained within our factor 9 grid. Expanding outward, we find 1440, then 144,000, which is a number that appears all over the world in the most compelling of ways. Take, for instance, the Great Pyramid of Giza. It happens to have been covered with 144,000 smooth white casing stones. To ancient Mayans, 144,000 days was the length of their 394-year back tomb.
Kings, the hallway, CH, he brought this out real clean and clear. Right there, 144,000. Again, the hijack of the New Testament, you got this, you know what I'm saying, this, whole situation in Revelations with the 144. You're like, where's that coming from? All right, well, it was sacred to the Maya, 144,000, and it represented the number of days of your captivity, which is not 400 years, but 394 years, which some have calculated was up in 2013, which when we say your time is up, that's why you're waking up. That's why this shit is like, oh, this is common sense. But it wasn't common for a long time.
A time cycle which has just begun again. In the Bible, we read that there will be 144,000 chosen ones redeemed from the earth prior to the apocalypse. Obviously, number sequences like these have been significant to many different cultures and religious sects, and to one enigmatic group in particular, the Freemasons. Were the earliest Masons, the supposed keepers of sacred information,
hijack.
also aware of the Factor 9 grid, the 432 key, and the number 144,000?
Of course they are.
Their infatuation with the numbers 3 and 13 might be telling. For instance, if you divide 144,000 by 432, the answer is 333.3 into infinity. Or take a look at the back of a dollar bill. That famous unfinished pyramid could be revealing some interesting clues. For instance, there are 13 steps climbing the pyramid, and 13 times 33.3 is 432.9.
Okay, we're seeing how they're fitting their vibration into ours, right? So we're seeing how they are exactly using it, however they're doing it. But they had to tune into our frequency, but then they tuned into it, hijacked our frequency, and then tuned us to 440. Ain't that about a bitch? So we got 440 coming out the radio, but they know the drop, which is the whole secret order shit, right?
Pyramid appears to be made as if someone had drawn 4 dots in a line, then 3 above it, then 2 above that, and then connected those dots to reveal this iconic shape. And of course, let's not forget that the square root of our all-important Factor 9 grid is 3 threes. Who else knew about 432? The answer is surprising. In India, large cycles of time are called Kali Yugas, and each one is 432,000 years long. In fact, the number 432 appears so often in sacred structures and myths, from Stonehenge to the pyramids, that author Joseph Campbell could not help but see it as the most important mythological number in history. So what do we have here? What is it that's trying to be expressed by all of these coincidences?
Come on.
One answer is that over the course of history, we have been somehow guided toward both the subconscious creation and eventual conscious recognition of a grand pattern based on frequency, mathematics, time, space, and geometry.
Except time, space doesn't exist, so there's the hijack. Now we're in the limits of time and space based on the hijack. They've put us into their own grid. Right, the creator got his natural grid. They created their own conscious grid, says Thoth, says Tahuti in the Emerald Tablets with his slave vibration. And with that other conscious grid and their harmonics and their pyramids and how they did their thing, man, they got us straight tripping, yo. But it was order. It was ordered. It was the spirit of stupor written about. Thoth, slave vibration, is the spirit of stupor, used by the Most High to put you to sleep. And the Maya said it's going to take 144,000 days, 394 years, not 400. Time's up.
Quite possibly, these synchronistic numbers, shapes, and tones represent the building blocks of a language that we do not yet fully understand, but could turn out to be the most important language we will ever learn.
All right, so let's take that. It's going to end up being the most important language we will ever learn. Now, how do you compare that with the language of creation, right? How do you compare that with the Paleo-Hebrew and the origins of that? How all of these, designs and the Aleph, Dalet, Gamma, they're all vibration, right? They all got numerical values. Now we got the numbers popping up in language, which is vibration, which is, if you can speak it purely, you're literally speaking vibration of creation. It's going to be the most important language you ever know, Drop Nation.
How will we use it? Who will we be conversing with? Time will tell.
Time will tell.
Thousands of years ago, from locations all over the globe, various prophets, shamans, and seers described an era when humanity would make some kind of cosmic leap into a next level of consciousness.
First thing he says is prophets, and you know where he's getting that from. You, Negro.
Here at the dawning of the age of Aquarius and the start of a new Mayan Doctrine cycle, maybe it's happening.
Back to the Maya. I'm going to get a couple more minutes and we're going to get back into that spirit science and get some of that drop and keep it pushing. Let me get that back.
How will we use it? Who will we be conversing with? Time will tell. Thousands of years ago, from locations all over the globe, various prophets, shamans, and seers described an era when humanity would make some kind of cosmic leap into a next level of consciousness. Here at the dawning of the age of Aquarius and the start of a new Mayan Doctrine cycle, maybe it's happening.
So they give you all that drop, but they show you a fake-ass spinning ball. You don't live here, people. This land, this South America, does not curve around the ball. Or else you would not have the Utah salt beds, or whatever it is, the flat salt bed, or those, lakes that have been measured for hundreds of miles that are not curving. Water's not curving in a ball. Your land ain't curving into a ball. Your land is going down and up, sinking, rising back up. All right? Be easy. We got the drop. People trying to jam us up, man. I don't even know how this stuff works. I feel like violated when somebody. Oh, that's that Google voice thing. I gotta get rid of that shit. I don't like that Google Voice, man. Jamming me up. Come on, man. Nah, man. Jam up Jones. Jam up Jones. Jam up Jones. All right. So you don't live in a ball, people. Let's get this quote from Tesla again. One good time. If you wish to understand the universe, or Heya, or creation, think of energy, frequency, and vibration. And what are the inventions? One of the most popular ones, what? Free energy. That means he was able to tap into a unlimited source of energy. Now apply his free energy with your natural Merkaba, your natural energy centers, right? They call it junk DNA, all that extra stuff that's been disconnected by 440 hertz and cell phone towers. Imagine that free energy connecting back home. You might get X-Men. That's all I have to say. All right, let's get out of here. Let's go to this spirit science drop and make our dismount. You know what I'm saying? We're having a good time. Party to the people. Power to the people. Oh, yeah, we definitely want to get some of that Nina drop, too. So let's get to it. Let's get to it. Let's go. Back it on up.
This way, maybe something else happens. Like, we start getting superpowers.
Uh-oh.
Like a hero.
Uh-oh, they gave it away.
It's time we begin to question the decisions of our ancestors, because many of the things that we've been led to believe to be true simply is not. I'm not saying blindly accept all of the new stuff that's coming out nowadays.
Crazy how time
we
it
should
works.
At least put it on the table and
Numbers.
be able to discuss it as a global community. One other thing before we get this rolling. I want to give an overview about what sacred geometry really is. Sacred geometry is the geometry of consciousness. It revolves around the idea that all consciousness, including human...
So when you wake up and you say, I'm conscious, brother, we're conscious. And you say, all right, well, if you're conscious, then you understand whose consciousness you're in. Do you know whose consciousness you're in, or do you think you're your own level of consciousness? Did you create yourself, or were you created in a frequency? And in that frequency, it's consciousness. So do you know what frequency you're in? Do you even know who you are? Do they even know who you are? Motherfucker just said X-Men, right on cue. So they know you're going to turn back into X-Men. That's the whole drop. Let's go.
...is solely based on sacred geometry. Because it is, we can be...
I'm trying to turn y'all back into X-Men. Why you fighting me? Tune up.
...begin to see and understand where we have come from, where we are now, and where we're going. The universe is infinite. It has no beginning and no end. In both science and religion, creation is often discussed from a perspective of having a set or a specific beginning. In science, we call it the Big Bang. This is the theory that says everything in the universe was compressed to the point of a single, infinitesimally small particle.
Now, do you believe that? Do you believe that it was just an accidental Big Bang? I mean, if there was any explosion of light, they're only talking about Heya saying, let there be light. So they take let there be light and turn it into the Big Bang, and now the creator don't exist. It was an accidental universe fart. And with that gas, you have gaseous planets and gas all over the place. Now we got to pump gas in a car and just pump gas all over the gravity theory. Just gassing us up. Full of helium. Poison. Gas.
Something we would perceive as unity, and then rapidly exploded and expanded outwards and created everything in the universe.
Okay.
In religion, it is generally called creation.
Oh.
When God, or some all-knowing and all...
Look at this hijack. They got Ra as God. Ra's the creator. I know some people listening right now like, yeah, Nuke, yeah, brother. I just want you to get a good load of this. And then go back and watch the Sinking to Egypt 6-part series.
Seeing entity, being the only one imbued with such power, created everything, presumably in 6 days, before taking a well-deserved day off.
Is that popping up in the hieroglyphs? That this Ra created everything in 6 days? Y'all have to let me know, because I really don't. I've never heard of that. But they just put your creation story and put that symbol, that hijack on it. Right? That symbol. This Horus's eye. All these symbols. All this angelic stuff. To hijack you. They just hijacked you just one-on-one. So this is a lot of hijack, but we do got some babies.
Take a step outside the box for a second and put these two sides of this cosmic coin into a Vesca Pisces. As usual, the two enemies that never got along actually have quite a lot in common. Both say that the universe started with unity and expanded outwards. Both say that light was an important factor in creation as well. If at the beginning of the universe we were one essence and somehow became everything, then both are saying the same thing, that we came from the same source. But wait a second. How can we make sense out of that statement, the universe is infinite,
Let's just keep going.
if we are measuring it from a sense of having a beginning? And this is what we're going to talk about now. If we value the pursuit of knowledge, we must be free to follow wherever that search may lead us. The free mind is not a barking dog to be tethered on a 10-foot chain. Today, I want to talk about two specific energies that can be expressed through this image. The energy that flows here is male and female energy. Male energy is focused, and female energy is creative and random. Neither of them is greater nor weaker than the other, and both can be extremely powerful when fully manifested. Female energy is the land of unbridled possibilities, creative potential, and affecting the universe from within. Focused male energy takes direct roads from point A to point B. This energy can be as strong as a tank, accomplishing tasks and going where it needs to go.
All right, let's break that down with creation. Let's break that down with you. Right? Because we don't really hear this really broken down that often. So we're going to do it in like 45 seconds. Our divinity, when we talk about Heya, and we talk about wisdom, and we equate all these things together as if, you know what I'm saying, or separately as if they're separate. We understand wisdom as a feminine energy, right? And with that, all this possibility comes, you know what I'm saying? With that, what does it say? I believe it's Jubilees that breaks down wisdom, you know, and how she comes at you crooked once you are following the ordinances of creation. Then once you prove yourself, then she is with you, right? So you might be going through a hard time, and wisdom, you know, is testing you herself by order. So you have this feminine energy. You have this energy that we're separating, calling Heya. All parts of the same and the whole. This energy we're talking about, you know, you know what I'm saying? We've spliced into all these things, and literature makes it seem like they're all separate. But these are the balance. That's the balance. What can you do with wisdom? Everything. I mean, you know, you can do all your left brain stuff. You can be intelligent. And somebody can come along with wisdom and give you a whole new dimension. With wisdom. That's how you build an empire, with wisdom. I remember the crest on the House of Andrew's shield. And it says, wisdom is the conqueror of fortune. What do you consider fortune? What? Freedom? Peace? Gold? Whatever you consider fortune. Land? Wisdom is the conqueror of it. Right? That's the balance. But wisdom only comes when you are going from point A to point B. Connecting the dots of order. Then now you have the balance of both. And now you are in the frequency of hey. That might have took longer than 40 seconds.
With precision and without distraction. The important thing to know about this energy isn't how they move. I'm going to use some super basic sacred geometry to demonstrate this. This is the Fibonacci spiral. We're going to be talking a lot more about it when we dive into the topic. For now, all you have to know is that it starts at 1 and flows outward forever in a very specific way, and is present in all life everywhere.
Fibonacci.
As male energy flows through the spiral, it goes from base point to point, from here to here, to here to here. It doesn't curve, it just goes straight where it needs to be. Female energy, however, would flow in the actual spiral. It would go around, going in and around outside all the lines, but still getting to the same or similar results. This is the graphic representation of how it flows, but it also acts in the same way. From this understanding, we can see how we use these energies in our lives. It's the difference between driving straight to work and being on schedule all the time, and taking the scenic route because it's a more pleasant ride, even if it means being late. It's baking a cake strictly by what it says in the cookbook, and putting it together with what just feels right. It's getting that promotion for working the hardest, and getting that promotion for coming up with the best ideas.
Balance.
Here's a relatable example. It's the difference between Inception and Sucker Punch. Both about dreams, but one of them being the masculine story of professional men just doing their no-nonsense work, trying to get the job done, and the other being the feminine story.
And you see this all the time, people out of balance. You see people with too much feminine energy, all right? And that's not necessarily, just because somebody's acting feminine don't mean they're rocking with wisdom, right? They got their whole other grid, right? So they're on a whole nother consciousness grid and a whole nother feminine energy. But a man that has the balance of feminine energy, or that which we're calling it, it just, you know what I'm saying, this whole male-female thing is just a consciousness, you know, it's all a materialization of building blocks of energy. So when we're just talking energy, it's hard to say male and female and make it make sense. We're talking about two energies that are married together, and you need them both. But wisdom is not going to rock with you until you're rocking with order. So that's all we're talking about, is the balance of energy. So you see, you know what I'm saying, like a man with the balance of that particular energy, you know what I'm saying, can have sympathy, can forgive his brother, right? Can be very creative and create empires, like I said, with that energy of wisdom, right? With that energy that's in that mother, that womb of earth. When you're connected with the earth, that balance. A man with this energy knows this earth. He knows his habitat. He knows the secrets of the earth. He knows the secrets of wisdom. That's real feminine energy, if you want to look at it like that. Or left brain, right brain, however you want to look at it. You know what I mean? Not that other feminine energy. And then you got people that's too masculine that just want to do a bunch of hurting, you know what I mean? And you can't, you know, you need a balance. You need to know, you know what I'm saying, when to hold them, when to fold them.
That was creative and random and, according to many, didn't make much sense. Both male and female energy, like the chakras, have their own traits. Male energy is linear, analytical, strategic, and practical. However, when male energy is constricted, it is very blundering and confrontational, and what tends to occur is not seeing all sides of a situation, or not being open to any other possibility other than the one being pursued. You can see a lot of that in today's society. Most commonly, we call it being closed-minded.
Oh, right on cue. Hijack. So the hijacks put us into a restricted male energy. It makes us closed-minded into religion. So they restrict your male energy, and then all you're being is trying to be analytical and logical. And that's what I see a lot in all over our community. We're all trying to outduel each other in debates and try to outthink each other. And I don't see a lot of wisdom being rocked. I mean, they would say they're rocking with wisdom. They would say they have the secrets. But you can just watch them and let me know if they're on the information superhighway or if they just, you know what I'm saying, are just doing a bunch of stuff. Or are they hitting it right where it needs to be hit? You know that tune. You know the vibration now. You're familiar with that 432. So you should be able to feel these things. They might be coming with information, but are they coming with vibration or are they coming with hijack?
Female energy, on the other hand, moves in curves. It does not stay inside the lines. It is creativity and movement and expression and emotion. It can do anything and go anywhere, but it has trouble sticking to schedule. If constricted, it can get out of its flow, running rampant between emotions and mood swings and ideas. The creativity could get...
Now we got brothers in the community, right? You say not, you know, I'm not talking about Drop Nation, but hey, everywhere, right? I mean, we're all off balance. You know what I'm saying? I might be more a certain way, I might be but what they talking about, man, it's just all this emotion. We see a lot of emotion that's coming out. That's restricted female energy. That's just all that estrogen, all that stuff that's being pumped in our foods. You got that restricted female energy. Now you got some emotional brothers walking around feeling real feminine.
Get jumbled and come out as an out-of-control mess.
Out of control.
We don't have this widespread issue in today's society, and it has a lot to do with our brain hemispheres. We're going to look at that in a moment. One big difference between the two is that male energy looks at parts and female energy looks at wholes. Before I go on, I want to make this clear. Male and female energy has very little to do with sexual orientation.
Right.
Like, it's in the mix, but it's not a fundamental part of the energy itself. For example, if you look at the shape of male and female bodies, men have straighter bodies, women have curvier bodies. We'll probably come back to this in a lesson down the road. Okay, brain hemispheres. We have two of them, and if you remember what you learned in grade 10 biology, this will be familiar. The left brain is the male energy side of the brain. It is orderly, statistical, logical, and mathematical. It sees things in straight lines, rational and practical. The right brain is the female energy side of the brain. It is our creative side, a free spirit. It is passion and experience of taste and feeling, movement and art. As is the same with the energy. The left brain cannot make sense out of the right brain. You cannot put feelings and expressions within boxes. They must be felt to be truly experienced.
I want to
The
see
right
this
brain, too, cannot make sense about how the left brain understands things.
diagram.
Okay, so as a species, we are primarily left-brained. Well, incredibly left-brained. This basically means that as a species in today's
get that
society,
back.
and it has a lot to do with our brain hemispheres. We're going to look at that in a moment. One big difference between the two is that male energy looks at parts and female energy looks at wholes. Before I go on, I want to make this clear. Male and female energy has very little to do with sexual orientation. Like, it's in the mix, but it's not a fundamental part of the energy itself. For example, if you look at the shape of male and female bodies, men have straighter bodies, women have curvier bodies. We'll probably come back to this in a lesson down the road. Okay, brain hemispheres. We have two of them, and if you remember what you learned in grade 10 biology, this will be familiar. The left brain is the male energy side of the brain. It is orderly, statistical, logical, and mathematical. It sees things in straight lines, rational and practical. The right brain is the female energy side of the brain. It is our creative side, a free spirit. It is passion and experience of taste and feeling, movement and art. As is the same with the energy. The left brain cannot make sense out of the right brain. You can...
Oh, almost had it. Almost had it. Let me go back a little bit.
It is orderly, statistical, logical, and mathematical. It sees things in straight lines, rational and practical. The right brain is the female energy side of the brain. It is our creative side, a free spirit. It is passion and experience of taste and feeling, movement and art. As is the same with the energy.
Alright. So look at these people just living in peace, right? So this is really the Native American, right? This is your aboriginal, your indigenous self. This is what they put on you. Now, you take away this, what are they saying? That you just were right-brained and you didn't have strategic skills, right? So you had a balance, but it didn't look like this. This is their balance. They're hijacking your brain with this. Chemtrails, poison water, fluoride, public school system, indoctrination, suppressing your left and right. You know what I mean? GMOs, all that shit. And this is you before they got here. Any questions? So they got that creative, that creation, that wisdom, right? With wisdom. Berashit. With wisdom. You were created with wisdom, with creation, with the creative vibration. Let's go. I mean, don't you want to go home to that?
The left brain cannot make sense out of the right brain. You cannot put feelings and expressions within boxes. They must be felt to be truly experienced. The right brain, too, cannot make sense about how the left brain understands things. Okay, so as a species, we are primarily left-brained. Well, incredibly left-brained. This basically means that, as a species, we essentially have a male energy imbalance. There is way too much of it. It is dominant and is constricting on the female side of the...
As a species, who species, right? We know we're different species, so now they're just busting their own ass out. As a species, they are nothing but chaos. They don't have the creative side. So if they don't have the creation side, what do? They steal everybody's culture and try to assimilate you into their culture to say that they got a culture. And you look around and you say, what have you created? And I'll show you the hijack. So if they're showing you right here, they only got this energy. Some are different, right? But they're talking about a certain species. This is what they came off the boats looking like this. I can't understand you, motherfuckers. I need your gold. I need to rape your women. Kill everybody. Throw the children just off cliffs. Because they didn't have no spirit of wisdom in them, no creation. They thought that the world was ending in 1650-something. And that them finding you was prophecy of the tribes, that they'll see the tribes again. And so they knew who they were slaughtering. And they thought it was prophecy of finding you again because the tribes will reappear and they still slaughtered your ass. This is what you're dealing with. That's the frequency hijack. That's 440 hertz. That's coming out your radio no matter what song you're listening to.
The brain. Now, don't get me wrong, this isn't a bad thing. In
Yeah,
fact,
it is.
it's kind of a blessing in disguise.
Oh,
We have
okay.
to talk about some other things first.
Oh, it's a blessing to
Everything
them.
in the universe is geometric. Whether it's people, trees, cats, planets, solar systems, stars, you name it. Anything in the universe can be measured on a geometric scale. Having said that, it's important to note that creation is also geometric. What we're going to be looking at today is the pattern of creation. Essentially, what this means is that everything in the universe comes out of this single pattern. I'm not making this up. This single image will change everything. When I mentioned in Lesson 5 that the ancient Egyptians and even more ancient civilizations knew about a deeper, basic understanding of the universe, this is the flower of life. And it is also the creation pattern of everything in existence.
Watch this.
Even non-tangible things, emotions, thoughts, music in its entire spectrum, everything comes from this image. Okay, so there are 13 information systems that comes out of the flower of life. Today, I'm going to show you how physical reality can manifest itself, which is just one of the 13 systems. In future lessons, we will look at more. It's also important to note that, at first, it may not make sense. I ask that you do not choose immediately to shut this out, and just watch with an open mind, and try and see this in a new way. Also, I want to tell you that by learning about sacred geometry simply by observing, you are absorbing only a very minuscule amount of information. If you really want to learn more, you must begin to draw it yourself. I kid you not, when you do this, you begin to see things in a new way. You begin to understand why things are done in the way that they are done. Promise.
Drop.
The flower of life was known around the world in ancient times. It was found in Ireland, Turkey, Israel, Egypt, China, Greece, Germany, India, and Iceland. It's also been recorded to have been found in England, Tibet, Japan, Sweden, Lapland, the Yucatan, and I think 14 other places.
Yucatan.
This thing is everywhere.
At the very
Not only that,
last.
but everywhere around the world it has the same name, the flower of life.
Flower of
Now,
life.
to understand the flower of life, first we have to talk about how it's formed. This could get incredibly complex, so I'll try and keep it simple. Imagine consciousness, or spirit, floating in a void,
Oh,
which means it's not.
look how they just look this, man. What energy are they tapping into every time they got to put this symbol as your creator? As if this predates you. You predate Thoth. They came and hijacked you. Poseidon came and hijacked you. Canaan came and hijacked you. All of their guys. Don't you get tired of them? Because they can't vibrate with you. So they hijack you. So hijack 101. Does this see? Do you feel the vibration of this? Doesn't it make you want to just... Because you know this was your slave vibration right here. And they still want to give it to you. Your creator don't have no symbol. Your creator has energy. Your creator is mathematical. And they're going to hijack your frequency.
Nothingness, and then spirit. No physical body or mind, just spirit, and that's it. Then blackness, essentially nothing, all around the spirit, for infinite.
Let's get the babies out.
Spirit decides to do something, so it expands its consciousness all around itself as far as it can go without moving. It creates a sphere around itself. This is the first circle in the flower of life. Then, spirit has an awareness of what's around itself in 360 degrees. It moves to the very edge of the sphere anywhere and repeats what it did the first time. It creates this image, which also creates the Vesica Pisces. Within the Vesica Pisces is a vast and incredible amount of knowledge about width, proportion, depth. Also comes the square roots of 2, 3, and 5, which are all numbers that go on forever. But even more interestingly comes geometric information about light. We'll talk about that in a moment. Now, spirit has no choice but to do it again. Spirit is flawless, and therefore it will move flawlessly, creating the next circle either here or here, exactly one radius away from the other circle next to it. Every time spirit moves another sphere, more and more knowledge comes out of the image that is created. The first complete image to be formed is this. It has two names, the seed of life, or the Genesis pattern, and for good reason. Now, let's look at the book of Genesis for a second.
Pattern.
Each of these movements, or creations of circles, can be seen as another day. On the first movement, the second sphere, it created knowledge about not only mathematical proportions, but light. The first sentence of Genesis says, "The earth was without form and void, and that the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters." In the very next sentence, God says, "Let there be light." The key here is in the order. The movement happened first. Then, light happened immediately after. Well, but what about the waters? Well, you have to remember, the Bible has been changed over time a lot. The ancient Egyptians would say that the way our modern Bibles begin creation is impossible, especially if you think about it from a physics point of view. Imagine a dark, infinite space that goes on forever and ever in all directions. You're just floating there with nothing. You can't really fall, but where would you fall to? From a purely physics or mathematical point of view, motion itself, or kinetic energy, is absolutely impossible in a void. You can't even rotate, because motion cannot become real unless there is one other object in the space around you. So the ancient Egyptians would say that before God moved upon the face of the waters, it would first have to create...
So this hijack is based on a vacuum of space, which does not exist. Right? If you were in a vacuum, then what's keeping everybody from being sucked away? Oh, gravity. All right, so you're telling me that NASA's rockets exit our... You know they ain't getting past the Van Allen belt, but let's say they get past all that radiation layers and they hit the vacuum of space. So they're going, what, hundreds of miles per hour, thousands, I don't know, hundreds of miles per hour, and go right into a vacuum? You know that's like hitting the... And wait, you're spinning at 1,100 miles per hour. The Earth's moving at 67,000 miles per hour, and all that motion, and you come out into a vacuum? Hijack. So now they're going to try to doubt your creation story based on Hijack 101 and the theory of gravity. But let's, get this a few more minutes. We're definitely going to do a part 2 because I want to keep on this this wave and let it fall where it lays,
Something to move relative to. So, Genesis pattern. After 3 spheres, you get the Holy Trinity. Another interesting one, it says in many Bibles of the world, not just the Christian Bible, that on the 4th day of Genesis, exactly 1/2 of creation was completed. Starting from the first motion, exactly 1/2 of the circles were formed on the 4th day. 5th day of Genesis, 6th circle, more information, and then on the 6th day, a geometric miracle takes place. The last circle forms a complete 6-petaled flower. This is what many earlier Bibles meant when they said, in the beginning there were 6. Our Bible even said creation was formed in 6 days, and this fits exactly. This is the pattern of Genesis, and so it's called the Genesis pattern. It's also the beginning of the creation of the universe that we live in. These original movements of spirit are really important, but now let's look at something even cooler. Another image that comes out of this pattern is this. It's called the Tree of Life. Many may recognize this as the Jewish or Hebrew Kabbalah, but the Kabbalah did not originate this image, and there is proof. The Tree of Life does not belong to any culture, not even the Egyptians, who carved the Tree of Life on 2 sets of 3 pillars at Karnak Temple, Luxor, over 5,000 years ago. It's outside any race or religion, as with all of these images. They are patterns that are intimately connected with nature. You'll also notice that every circle on the Tree of Life is either the length or width of the Vesica Pisces. The second image beyond Genesis in the Flower of Life is the Egg of Life. This is formed during the second vortex motion. Upon its completion, it creates an image like this, a 3-dimensional shape that you can hold in your hand. If you were to connect their centers, you would see a cube. So what? Who cares? Well, the ancient Egyptians did, because they were concerned with creation, life, and death. They called this cluster of spheres the Egg of Life. You probably won't believe me just yet, but this shape is the morphogenic structure that created your body. Your entire physical existence is dependent on the Egg of Life structure, and everything about you was created from that form. Everything from your eye color to how long your fingers are. This is a whole lesson on its own, so let's move on for now. All around the world, the Flower of Life was always made the exact same way. See, this pattern can clearly go on forever. However, they always stopped after 19 circles. Why? Well, because they didn't want you to see what I'm about to show you. Back then, this image and knowledge was so sacred that they couldn't allow it to become common knowledge. It was appropriate at that time. However, now we either use the information or fall further into darkness. In biology, all cells have a zona pellucida around the edge. These circles around the Flower of Life are the zona pellucida of the Flower of Life. You must remove these, then complete the spheres that were cut off by the zona pellucida. With one more step, you will have the secret. Finish the drawing, add the final missing circles, giving you this.
Drop.
This image is the fruit of life. This pattern of 13 circles is one of the holiest, most sacred forms in existence. It's called the fruit because it is the result, the fruit, from which the fabric of the details of the reality were created.
Drop.
Remember when we talked about male and female energy, lesson 4? As you can see, this image is female. It has no straight lines. However, when you combine male lines with these female circles, something amazing happens. What you do is draw a straight line from the very center of every single circle to every other circle in this image. When you do this, you get an image which is known throughout the universe, everywhere, as Metatron's cube. It is one of the most important informational systems in the universe.
Any
One of
questions?
the basic creation patterns in existence. So what is Metatron's cube? Well, anyone who has studied sacred geometry, or even regular geometry for that matter, knows that there are 5 unique shapes in the universe, and that they are crucial to understand.
Now you're going to hear this Metatron, you know what I'm saying, which I believe also refers to an angel. as well as Melchizedek, you know what I'm saying, which, you know, when you research the Dead Sea Scrolls and all that, you know what I'm saying, they mention Melchizedek as their, you know what I'm saying, the cat that, you know, the priest that Abraham ran into, and, you know what I'm saying, he breaks down to Melchizedek, so King of Peace, I believe it is, Zedek, Melchi, King of, I believe it's King of Peace or King of Righteousness, so this King of Righteousness, but yeah, so you're going to hear a lot of interpretations from Scripture. Everything's coming right out of that Torah, right? They're going to try to put the hijacks in, but now we have vibration, so we can, the hijack, a little more.
Standing both regular and sacred geometry. They are called the Platonic solids. A Platonic solid has certain characteristics by definition. First of all of its faces are the same size. For example, a cube, the most well-known Platonic solid, has a square on every face, so all of its faces are the same size. Secondly, the edges of the Platonic solids are all the same length. All edges of the cube are the same length. Third, it only has one size of interior angles between the faces. In the case of the cube, this angle is 90 degrees. And fourth, when put inside of a sphere, all of the points will touch the edge of the sphere perfectly. With that definition, there are only 4 shapes besides the cube that fit that description. So, what are they? Well, we have the dodecahedron, the tetrahedron, the octahedron, the isosahedron, and the hexahedron. All of these shapes are found within Metatron's cube. This knowledge is also where original alchemy came from. The ancient alchemists and great souls like Pythagoras, father of Greece, considered each shape to have an elemental aspect to them. The tetrahedron was considered fire, the cube was earth, the octahedron was air, the isosahedron was water, and the dodecahedron was ether.
Okay. So fire, air, right? Water, fire, air, which is wind, water, and land. All Platonic solids. Remember, we just got the drop of Adam being, you know, I don't know how these things are going to attach, but you know what I'm saying? We're all surfing the same wave, so we're connecting these things. We got to wake up. So in waking up, we got to vibrate. What does it mean to vibrate? It means to be mathematical. It means to be conscious. It means to understand the building blocks, energy, frequency, vibration, free energy. You need that free energy going through that ruach to get to the next stage. You need to connect to that free energy if you really want to suit up. You dig? So fire, air, water, land, these Platonic solids, the Most High said he put those in his hand and came Adam, you. And he gave you governance, you know what I'm saying, power. He gave you dominion over all creation based on what he created you out of. He said you are my image, which means that he also is a combination of these Platonic solids as free energy. All right. I want to get a little bit of this Styles by Nina. We're going to get a few minutes of it. We'll do a part 2, so don't even trip. All right. Love to all y'all, my peoples. Now let's dismount with this Styles. Let's go to Styles. Not Smiles. We'll get Smiles next time, too. But let's go to Styles. Going the wrong way. Let's go to Styles by Nina, the Pyramidiots. Man, this just is cold work. Let's go.
Hey YouTube, this is Styles by Nina.
Nina, take it away.
The Pyramidiots, and it's a pseudoscience, pseudo-archaeology, and ancient Egypt. Now, I already recorded this, and I made a mistake and erased it or didn't save it to the computer. So I'm just going to start over, and hopefully I can get through it a little better because I was stuttering a little.
Okay, sister,
now,
okay.
This is Pyramidiots.
Bang.
Okay. Pyramidiots. And this is characterized by having outlandish, far-fetched theories about the origin, nature, or purpose of the Egyptian pyramids. Often characterized by the feeling that academic Egyptologists are hiding the truth, or lack the open-mindedness to recognize the truth of what the Pyramidiots believe. Now, the 19th century Pyramidiots, and they're George Stanley Faber, and he is responsible for a dissertation of the mysteries of the Cabiri in 1803, the origin of pagan idolatry in 1816, and he proposed similarities in shape and structure among the pyramids of Egypt, Mayan pyramids, and the biblical Tower of Babel. Each of these structures, my apologies, I'm working. So each of these structures represented attempts to erect copies of Mount Ararat, upon which the Ark of the Old Testament supposedly rested. John Wilson, between 1852 and 1856, John Wilson published The Lost Solar System of the Ancients Discovered. Measurements of the Great Pyramid of Giza contained the key to historical and scientific secrets. From the measurements of the Great Pyramid, he extrapolated the distance from the Earth and the Sun. Taken from the bent pyramid of the shore, he derived the diameter of Jupiter, and taken from the hypostyle hall of the Karnak temple, he derived the orbit of Saturn.
Hijack.
And John Taylor,
Saturn, Jupiter,
in 1860,
hijack.
The Great Pyramid, why was not built, and who built it? The architect of the pyramid was not an Egyptian, but was the biblical Noah. The Great Pyramid contains secrets of which the ancient Egyptians themselves were unaware. Sacred cubit, sacred cubit, identical to the cubit that the Israelites had used during biblical times. Piazzi's Smith,
identical to the cubit Israel used in biblical times. So now we might be getting to the bottom of this Ark of the Covenant. This machine, right? This energy that was keeping us safe, protecting us, fighting with us. Come on.
Life and work at the Great Pyramid, 1867 through. The pyramid was not an Egyptian monument. It was the oldest man-made structure, and the remainder of the Egyptian pyramids, in his opinion, were only filthy pagan imitations. Native Egyptians furnished the labor to build the structure. The architect was an unknown person from the Old Testament. The pyramid was a perfect structure, a product of divine inspiration, which embodied in its measurement a perfect system of weights and measures. By the use of a series of mathematical formulas, Smith intended to unlock the secrets of the Great Pyramid. He enlisted support from two groups, the opponents to the introduction of the metric system, and to England and anti-evolutionists. Ignatius Donnelly, in 1831, he studied law and eventually went on to become one of the youngest lieutenant governors of Minnesota. He later went on to serve several terms in the Federal House of Representatives and ran twice as the Vice President of the United States. Ignatius Donnelly's Atlantis, the Antediluvian World, that was his book. It's a modern revised issue.
Atlantis,
edition,
right?
Pre-deluge.
Atlantis.
The Antediluvian World, published in 1882, is the Bible for the belief in the legend. His approach...
DC. Go back to the series, Sinking to Egypt, 6-part series, you'll understand the hijack. This Egypt is this Atlantis, which is this Atlas. Plural of Atlas is multiple continents. You know what I'm saying? So you have Atlantes, Egypt, all this is hijacked. We didn't call it that. So you're always just talking about fallen angels, celestial, people that are just into things that are as far as they can go, but they can't get across the barrier. Thoth could never get across the barrier. He always had to move in circular patterns that had no angles. The dweller had to run their ass off from the angels of the barrier. So these people had a barrier over them that they couldn't get up. Just like now, we can't get past a barrier. We can't cross the Van Allen belt. You research it. There's barriers to this. There's levels to this. But you are prime. You are prime rib. Prime rib, Adam. You have the highest vibration, which gives you the highest power. Way over this stuff. Hijack. Come on, sister, take it away. And we're going to do part 2.
Was totally indiscriminate. He never made an absurd theory about Atlantis that he didn't like or include in his book. The central premise of the book is that the Atlantis story told by Plato in Timaeus and Crassus dialogues is not a legend but veritable history. Atlantis was the region where man first rose from a state of barbarism to civilization.
Whoa! Where else do they say that? America, they came over here and raised us from a place of barbarism. It's always barbarism. Follow the barbarism, you'll follow the hijack. Whoever they were calling barbarians is because you called them barbarians, and they were just reversing it. So if their Greek mythologies, Atlantis raised you up, this fallen angel seeds in their pyramid 440 harmonic conscious grid raised you up from being barbarians. The same way the Pope saw you in the Biblioteca de Colombina Sevilla as a barbarian. Stay tuned to part 2. You know what I'm saying? We're going to come right with it. And, you know what I'm saying? Keep choosing up, man. It's a frequency war.